Welcome to another episode of Cook, Climb, Repeat, where today we're starting the first episode in what'll be a long series of covering probably my favorite dish and one of the most versatile, and that's fried rice. You could do breakfast fried rice, dinner fried rice, Hawaiian fried rice, Thai fried rice. There's so many different variations out there. It's really kind of the kitchen sink of the stir fry world, but there's a few basic principles that if we get right, we can turn this dish from a side that you would regularly have with your meal to the full-blown main course. Starting off with our rice. So this is day-old rice. I cooked it yesterday and it's been sitting in the fridge overnight. You really need to do this. Don't skip this step because putting it in the fridge overnight allows that rice to dry out, and you're gonna get these individual grains and you're gonna get that texture that you want. If you use fresh rice that you've just kind of cooked like relatively recently, it's gonna clump and it's gonna be mushy in your pan, and it's just gonna be gross. It's not gonna have that that kind of takeout texture that you are used to. So that's first and foremost. I also cook my rice in a rice cooker. I've got a cheap one. It was like 20 bucks at Target. It's really worth the investment. It's plug and play. Put in your rice, put in your water, and you're good to go. Let it start. When it's done, put it out onto a plate or a tray, cover it with tin foil, and throw it into the fridge. So that's first and foremost. Get your rice right. Don't use fresh rice. It needs to be at least a day old. 2 or 3 is totally fine as well. Today we're making a breakfast fried rice. It is morning here, drinking the coffee, and this isn't by no means traditional. There are some traditional ingredients in it, but this is my personal way I like to make breakfast fried rice. To start, we're gonna make our sauce. The base is going to be well, we're gonna have maple syrup in it. That's where we're gonna get our sweetness. That's gonna be something that kind of makes it quote unquote breakfasty. But to start, we're going to do 1 tablespoon of light soy sauce or regular soy sauce. I've got dark soy sauce here too. This isn't necessary. It doesn't really add much flavor, but it does add a nice dark rich color to it. We're gonna add about a ½ tablespoon of that. We're going to add, I don't know, ½ teaspoon of sesame oil, just a little bit. We can garnish with some more later if we would like. You can do about a tablespoon of oyster sauce. This gives it that savoriness and richness that you're used to and getting from takeout. So a full tablespoon of that. And it's breakfast fried rice, right? So I've got maple syrup here. It's gonna add that nice sweetness and mapliness to it. We're gonna do about a tablespoon of that as well. If you don't have maple syrup, you could use the high fructose corn syrup stuff, but this flavor is gonna be a lot more complex and it's gonna make the dish better. And then last but certainly not least, we're gonna add a little bit of flavor salt, MSG, up that savoriness just a little bit. It's like a ¼ teaspoon. Give that a stir. And we'll be good to go on our sauce. Nice thing about fried rice, y'all, it's quick. We make our sauce, prep a few ingredients, our rice is already made. This really does come together in under 15 minutes. All right, just give it a little taste. Salty, savory, sweet. We're actually gonna add a little bit more maple syrup to that. Another ½ tablespoon. There you go, and play around with your measurements. This isn't exact. I'm not even using a real tablespoon measurement, just a spoon. Next, for our main protein ingredients, we have 3 eggs. We're just gonna give those a whisk. Eggs are a traditional ingredient in fried rice anyways, so it kind of fits in with the breakfast. Really adds a nice texture to have fluffy eggs littered throughout your fried rice. That's good to go. Here I've got about 1/4 pound of sage sausage. You can do bacon and cook the rice in the bacon fat. That'd be great too. Today, sage sausage it is. I've also got some frozen peas and carrots here. We're gonna be putting in like a half cup of this. I really like keeping frozen peas and carrots around. When you throw them into the wok, they tend to stand up better to the heat and not get mushy because there are frozen. We're just gonna put them onto the pan, get some heat, warm them up. It'll give a nice crunch and freshness to this dish since we have a lot of rich ingredients. So we'll be putting those in. And now we just need to cut up a few things. So as we all know, we're gonna cook with safety here. Get our helmet on. Safety in the kitchen. So for our other vegetable ingredients, we've just got 2 cloves of garlic here. Doesn't need to be super garlicky. In regular fried rice, I do use a lot more garlic, but for breakfast fried rice, just 2. Adds a nice little garlic essence to the dish, but it's not a main part of the flavor profile. And we're just gonna give that a thin slice through. Nothing fancy. And then we are gonna have some green onion in this dish. I'm gonna cut off those ends. We're gonna use the very bottom of the white parts, about right there. We're gonna use these, and we're actually gonna cook these into the dish along with our garlic. And then the rest we're gonna save for garnishing at the end. So those will go together. And then for our longer sections here, for our garnishes, we're gonna put that, we're just gonna slice that at an angle, both for texture and presentation. And I like a little bit bigger chunks. If you don't want that oniony bite, make some smaller chunks. So there we go, that is going to be our garnish for the end. We're also gonna garnish with a little bit of sesame seed if you'd like it. And then I like a little heat in this dish. We have the sweetness from the maple syrup, so balancing out that sweetness with some heat is nice. If you don't like your spice, leave it out. So I've got a jalapeno here. This is about a half of a jalapeno I had sitting in my fridge. Just like that, nothing crazy. I just want a little bit of heat in the dish, nothing too much. All right, that's our prep work. Super simple. We've got our aromatics chopped, green onion garnish, rice is ready because we cooked that yesterday, eggs whisked, sauce made, sausage ready to be cooked. Let's go over to the stove and get to walking. All right, we're cooking in our wok again. If you don't have a wok, a large walled saute pan will work just fine. So we're gonna bring this up to a pretty high heat. We're gonna get a nice sear on that sausage and then take it out. And then we're gonna be adding our eggs in and building from there. We'll put the sausage back in at the end. All right, our wok is starting to smoke. We're gonna add some oil, just a little bit. Give that a season. Dump that out. Now we're gonna add our sausage in. For our sausage, we're just gonna press that nice and flat and get a sear on both sides before breaking it up. There we go. Just let that sit for a second so that the bottom can caramelize. Check for darkness. Think it's probably good. Look at that. Perfect. We're gonna let that brown on the other side before we break it up and then take it out. All right, ready to break this up now. Give that a nice chop through. just like so. Grab a bowl. I'll take this out. We'll add that back in at the end. All right. Great, we're just gonna add a little bit more oil to that. There we go. We're gonna go in with our eggs now. And when this is almost done, we're about there. We're gonna push this up to the side. If you don't have a wok and can't take it off the main cooking heat, you're gonna need to take this out and add it to our sausage. And we'll just add it back in at the end. But since I have the wok, I'm just gonna push that up to the sidewall for now, like so. And go in with our aromatics and our peas and carrots. So peas and carrots first. About a half cup there, that's good. And then just give that a nice little stir through. Eggs can go over that so that they don't burn. We're just gonna let some heat get on those peas and carrots, no need to stir. We're just defrosting them basically. And once those are defrosted and warmed up, we're gonna go in with our garlic, onion, and jalapenos. All right, break that up. Give it a toss through. And now we're gonna go in with our aromatics. Just want a touch of oil in there. We're just gonna saute that through for 20-30 seconds. We don't want to burn our garlic. Just getting those flavors. Oh, it smells delicious. Just get it cooked out. Let the oils release. Great. All right, that's good to go. Now we're gonna go in with our rice. Touch of oil. And then as we put our rice in, we're gonna try to break it up a little bit. It's just gonna help us once it's in the pan. You can see how that's just crumbling into these individual pieces of rice. That's what you want. That's what we get from having it in the fridge overnight. Great. Spread that rice out, flip this over so that they don't burn. Just let that sit for a second, let the pan come up to a bit higher heat, and we'll start tossing. All right, so we let that sit for about 30 seconds. Add in our sausage, and now start stir frying. You just want to make sure any little clumps of rice get broken up. And we're gonna keep tossing and stir frying this until we start to see little rice granules jumping. You see how they're jumping like that? That's a good sign. We want more of that. We just need to toast the rice. It'll start getting a little bit nutty. You'll be able to smell kind of the aroma of toasty, nutty rice coming out of the pan, and that's when you know we'll be ready to add our sauce. See how all these little individual grains are separate? That's what you want. If you were using freshly cooked rice for this, it would be all clumpy, gloopy, it'd be sticking to the wok, and your dish would be mushy. All right, we are almost ready to add in our sauce. You can see all those grains of rice jumping in the pan. That's exactly what you want. See that? See how they're kind of hopping around? Perfect. All right, we are ready for our sauce. I'm gonna spread this around the sides. Now toss to combine. All the sugars from the maple syrup and the oyster sauce are gonna caramelize and start to darken the rice. Look at that. Give it a little taste for seasoning to see what we're getting right now. Perfect. Take that off the heat, get ready to plate. We're good to go. All right, best part, time to go in for the taste. Sweet from the maple really comes through. That sage sausage adds a nice kind of floralness to it. Touch, ever so slight touch of spice from the jalapeno. So good. You're gonna love making this. That's all for today, y'all. Hope you enjoyed this video. Go make it for yourself and start experimenting with this. Don't forget, don't overcook your rice. That is key. You want that nice, chewy, al dente rice. Until next time, go make this for your friends. That's what food's about. Love your friends. We'll see you next time. Later.